Joining us now to speak on the import of this historic inaugural lecture, the essence of dance in our cultural life and within the academia, as well as his meteoric rise as a child dancer during Festac 77, is Professor of Dance Studies, Professor JELEEL OJUADE. Prof, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning. Good to have you.
Good morning.
I mean, you delivered the University of ILORIN inaugural lecture, which was the 208th
in the series.
In the series, and the title was "Dance is Life, Life is Dance: A Cyclical Nature of Man on Earth." I mean, two things. How much of a big deal was it that a professor of dance was chosen to deliver an inaugural lecture for a big university like ILORIN? And then what were you talking about the cyclical nature of man on earth as far as dance is concerned?
Well, thank you very much. To start with, it's just natural that as a professor, at a point in time, you will have to account for what you have been doing and to prefer a kind of guidance on what you'll be doing in the next stages of life. Theater arts. Generally, we have a lot of professors in the area of theater, dramatic arts, but dance is another area that is just gaining prominence. And fortunately, I happen to be a professor in performing arts department. And when the vice chancellor approved of my, giving the inaugural lecture, I thought of so many things. Okay. And what actually prompted my topic was that I looked at life generally, that dance is part of human life, whether you like it at the point of a gestation period, okay, while we are still inside the womb. You see the medical doctors, sometimes they try to monitor if the baby is moving to the point of coming alive, and you see each of the stages like a circle. And once you enter that circle, you keep growing and you keep dancing until you take exit.
Life is
and I looked at that, and I compared it with my genealogical origin. Okay. My great-grandfather, I have had a lot of histories and stories about him, and I looked at his life, the way he moved to save his people at Ile-Ife until the point he took his exit. So I quickly looked at that. And
so you started your journey as a child dancer. You participated in that 1977 Festival of Arts and Culture. Talk to us about how that shaped your future. That's really how that happened and your experience to start with as well.
Such an interesting one, because I even started earlier than 1977.
Okay.
My father told me that he was a teacher at a secondary school known as Okebo Ifetedo Grammar School then, where I was teaching literature, Yoruba, and history. But aside that, he had a troupe of his own and a troupe for the secondary school. So he said he was invited to come and perform somewhere then, and as a child, it took me just to sit by the ring to see the performance. Unfortunately, probably curiosity, I strolled into the dancing ring. Okay. And it became problematic because people were saying, "Oh, you this small boy, leave that place." Some said, "Leave him alone." Eventually, he told me they left me, and I started dancing. And Nigerians. He
told you that. So how old were you then?
I was like 4+.
Oh, wow.
Just,
he said, before Festac.
Yes, before Festac.
Way before.
And he said people started spraying me with money. I was so shocked that the proceeds from that performance were like triple of the usual money he normally gets in performance. I said, "Oh, this is a nice one. What a strategic way of making money, that this is Kalu, all this." So he now saw a wear for me, this outfit for dancing, and I started the journey with him. So it became more problem. I became an itinerant dancer, strolling dancer, anywhere, any day. Once I hear music, particularly the Yoruba traditional bata and dudu instrument. That was how I started, dancing.
The dudu instruments, that
the drum,
the hourglass drum, the one that has the strings.
Right.
Probably you will see it probably as we continue. Then the other one is bata, And when I started growing up, of course, at a point, I believe I have to, my education is very important. Or I danced all through my primary, my secondary school. So when I entered A-levels, for my A-levels, I had to try to slow down because it became more problematic between my dad and my mom. My dad, wanted me to follow that route so that I can become something in the area, so that I can take over from him or, with other siblings of mine. But my mom wanted me to become a lawyer. So she was always saying, no, you can't continue to be an alajota that will just be dancing round. But when I got to the University of Ilorin, my father was happy because I was in to study performing arts. So, but I did something. I quickly tried to hide my identity because if they know that I'm a strolling dancer, it will become more problematic for me. It won't give me time to concentrate on my academic work. So when I finished my first degree, I went to Ibadan to serve. From there, I gained admission into the Institute of African Studies to have my master's degree. I got PhD grade and I went for my PhD. So when I started my PhD, I looked at it, I said, how do I satisfy this woman? Then I went back to the University of Ilorin to read law. I had LLM, LLB, I had master's in law, LLM, then MBA. Then I got a job with the University of Ilorin in 2001 as a lecturer. So that was how I started. And I rose through the ranks to become a professor of dance.
Fascinating.
Very, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lawyer, and you're still dancing?
Yes.
But how, in the academia in Nigeria, I mean, I know that there are big names. Professor Razak Ojo, for example, is also into dance. He's now the Honorable Commissioner for, what's this other big name in London?
Peter Badejo.
Peter Badejo.
But my dad trained him.
Oh, really? Yeah. What do you, would you want any of your children to be a dancer?
Of course, I want them to be, but unfortunately, they're in the sciences. But unknowingly, probably genealogically, or the blood in them, they are
just as you did.
Exactly.
You never know.
In fact, the young lady, my first daughter, had commencement about 3 weeks ago, and I was shocked. She was on talking drum. I couldn't believe it. I was just looking at her. I said, okay, go ahead.
Absolutely amazing. Yes. So this past weekend, you were installed as the Are Alasa.
Are Alasa.
So I had to read it. So Alasa. Osun State, right? The position means that you would be in charge of culture, arts, and tourism and festivals. I mean, what does this honor mean to you, and how do you see the tourism in your state?
That title means a lot to me, and I need to thank the king of our town again, because it was actually a position that was held by my late father.
Wow.
So when he passed on, so the community and the chief and urban council came back to our family that they cannot do anything than to return it to our family. And when it came to the family, unanimously, they all said, I have to take it. I said, no, I'm like the youngest. I cannot do that. It took me like 3 months. They said, no, it's not a matter of being the youngest or something. This is what you do. And you have been doing it with your late father, that I should try to use that platform to assist the community and make sure, we progress. I said, okay. So that was how I became the Are Alasa last weekend. Well, tourism in that area, not even in that area, in Nigeria, it's something that we need to work seriously on. We have a lot to showcase to the world. We have the best tourism in this country. Look at the 6 geopolitical zones. I've moved around. I could see that our attention is unnecessarily shifted to politics. We have a lot that we can generate from tourism. I've been to so many countries, and I see how they value their culture. Not to talk of we Nigerians going there, and we have a lot here back home that we are just looking as if nothing is happening. So in that area, we have raw talents, just like in any other part of Nigeria, that they are waiting for somebody to ignite that,
The spark.
to spark it up and, control it and make it more interesting and progressive and contribute to the economy of this country.
Right.
If we can do that, I think we'll be swimming in, I won't even say the amount, but money won't be a problem in this country.
What locations are you looking at? I've been fascinated with this area, the Eri-Ijesha Falls.
Eri-Ijesha
Waterfalls. Yeah. It's so beautiful. I've been there, I think, twice. The most fascinating part of that area is where the cold and
the
warm
hot
water
meets.
meets.
The warm water, yes.
So beautiful. What would you do with that sort of location?
In fact, let me tell you, we have over 500 ethnic configurations in this country. Each of the ethnic groups, in fact, they do not even know what they have because we have lost history. So don't even talk about Eri-Ijesha. We have multiple of Eri-Ijeshas all around Nigeria. If the Federal Ministry of Culture, try to do what they are supposed to do, we will get more of Eri-Ijesha. I'm telling you. I can mention.
Please do.
I should be mentioning.
Yes, please.
All right.
This is the idea.
Let me tell you, I was part of the African Drum Festival in the last two editions they had. I was marveled at the kind of.
Which one? The Abeokuta?
Abeokuta.
Okay.
Professor Oshinka said I should come and I was part of it. When I saw the artists that came to perform, I was marveled because you never knew that there are some people in different corners of this country, doing that. I went to Calabar for this Calabar Carnival. Before the COVID, I was part of it. The kind of performances that I saw, I believe that we have more than enough. So if we start to mention the ones in the North, Argungu Fishing Festival, not to talk of other ones up north. Forget about the religious separation. It has nothing to do.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So I look at people when they say, what do you mean? Religion is just a way of conducting yourself. I mean, to be focused. But if you now jettison it with your culture, I mean, it's something else.
You dance at Festac 77.
Yes, as a small boy.
As a small boy. But then I know that you still have some fond memories of that, but if you look at how far we have come 40-something years after, perhaps the only thing that stands as a representation of that glorious cultural moment will be the National Theatre. Today, National Theatre is not something that we are particularly proud of. It's the bankers committee that is trying to rescue it now. What would be your assessment of our cultural space as a country? Looking at National Theatre. There's even no National Theatre in Abuja, the seat of power. And we've been there since 1991. What do you think we're not doing right, in terms of, as a polity, culturally speaking?
Let me plead for what I want to say now so that people won't take me to...
Absolutely.
These are part of...
Fifth Amendment.
Honestly, these are part of the things that when I sit down to look at Nigeria, I feel terribly bad, particularly culture-wise. As a young boy growing up, I started at the local level. And based on our recognition within the local environment, we started representing our local community at the state level. That was in the 70s when Uncle Bola Ige was the governor of Oyo State. And he took it as a point of duty that wherever he goes, we will follow him to represent the environment locally and state-wise in performance. So I think about 79, we were selected to be part of a performance at the National Theatre. And from that 79 upward, I know that even if I'm not going anywhere, October 1st of every year, I'll be at the National Theatre.
Wow.
Because whoever was the head of state or president must come to the National Theatre that night for October 1st celebration, whereby all the dances from different ethnic groups will have to perform. A unified country. somehow, I think 90s, I discovered nothing like that was happening again.
A shift, yeah.
That was a total shift. No performance, nothing.
Could it be the military that jettisoned it?
Even if it were to be military.
Ironically, it was the military that gave us the National Theatre.
Exactly. I remember that every year I can count names of
Head of state.
head of state that I shook hand with, because I was young. They would look at me, take me around. Suddenly it disappeared. And the glory that we look at, the National Theatre, the last time I went there, I couldn't believe it. Because we were part of the people that opened that, edifice. In performance-wise, I remember when we were traveling to represent the country at the 12th Commonwealth Games and Warana Festival in Brisbane, Australia in 1982. We were there. It was new. But somehow, the politicians just saw it as if, and it's embarrassing that we're now calling on banks to come and take over our culture. How will they know? They are there to make money out of it.
Absolutely.
So I think there's a problem. Probably I am believing that we are putting the wrong people in wrong places.
As usual.
Yes.
Now you're a professor of dance, and you've just talked about this beautiful cultural movement that has just disappeared.
Yes.
What, in your opinion, should be the first step in trying to get that type of, idea back into our cultural space in Nigeria? I mean, some sort of maybe partnership with Nollywood. I know Bolanle Austin Peters has done a really great job in trying to make sure that, she has all these festivals and plays, even at the National Theatre. What could be done at this point?
I think it's part of the recommendations
in your
inaugural
lecture.
Okay, can you share with us?
We need to give attention to the practitioners. What I've been doing is to try to synergize both the town and gown, my approach. Sometimes I bring those people in practice to come and be a part of probably teaching or seminar or workshop. Now, we have to change our perception about those people involved in cultural activities. Once you give them attention, you need to fund them. There are a lot of them spending their money. It's not even Bolanle Austin Peters has money to do certain things. There are some, I can tell you that.
Yes.
Even some of my students are working with her, graduates of performing arts, and they're doing well. Of course, if they have their way, they won't want to work with her, but because of the economy or something. But there are lots, hanging, in the wings, sideways, trying to see what can they do with their lives. The government needs to give attention to that. Then there is a problem. We need to look into the curriculum. I was amazed if government at the Ministry of Education, Federal Ministry of Education says that they should remove history as part of
That was a complete disaster, honestly. Complete disaster.
It's one of the
it
worst
is part
things.
of the problem.
Yes.
If you are talking about theater or performance, history, music, dance, drama, poetry, they're part of it. How do you analyze a dance if you do not have the knowledge of history? There can never be a dance for dance sake. Any dance you see, it has historical background. Any poetry, prose, whatever they say, there is a meaning attached to it. So if at that educational level we have removed something, that means we cannot move ahead without inserting that thing and put it back. With history, we can now say we want to document. We lack documentation. Even go to the National Theatre, I don't think they have library. I discovered that during my master's project, when I wanted to start my PhD, I thought even the recordings that I was part of, that I've performed, they could not even see
Lost.
Lost, totally.
Wow.
Nigerian Television Authority. I went there. We were regular, face at the Ibadan or some NTA Ibadan.
NTV Ibadan.
Exactly, WNTV. They could not even pick any. Those that they have, they said they do not have the machine that can play it. What are we talking about? And I charged government, even if it's 0.5% of whatever they get from FIRS or whatever, they now divert it to culture. It will go a long way. We need to set up so many documentation center. it will fetch us money because a lot of people will be coming to come and, conduct research, with us, and they will pay for it.
Does this come down to the lack of a proper cultural policy for Nigeria that we've been advocating for several years?
I think even the one they have, are they really religious with it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just coming together. We want, there's a conference coming up here, or we want to host a committee of head of state, or you come and do such performance. No, it's beyond that, because even the visitors, they want to know more about the performance.
That's right.
But we lack it. So there are lots. And I'm telling you, the federal government needs to separate Ministry of Culture out of information.
From information.
Yeah, you don't have to merge them. Information supposed to be the megaphone for, our culture.
Activity.
Yes.
So there has to be a minister of culture.
I'm telling you. In fact,
That's
it is information that will now try to give it more clout, that people should know what is going on here. Now you now subsume it under.
Yeah, because it appears that the Minister of Information and Culture seems to be just focused on that at this point. Because that's what we
it will be a lot more, it will be busier with the information aspect of it than
at the expense of culture.
Correct.
And there is a connection between our culture with our traditional institutions.
That's right.
And the academia. I've said it. If that tripod is well, formulated, we are good to go. We are good to go. Even most of the students that are in school now, they are banking on what our professors have written in those years. There are nothing new again, because to even conduct a research, a well-grounded research, where is the funding?
Oji, do you dance?
I do. I do dance.
I
love dancing, but I don't know this cultural dances. But I love dancing, and I'm just hoping that they will come back.
Maybe you are in the modern dance.
Yes,
because we have.
I wouldn't tell you the type of dance.
The zankos and
I know.
Or the shoulder dance. Well, thank you very much, and congratulations on your lecture and your honor.
Thank you so much.
We hope to see you again.
Thank you.